Welcome back to another episode of Valuable Coins, where we dive deep into the world of numismatics, uncovering the most valuable and unique coins in the market today. If you're a coin enthusiast, collector, or simply interested in the incredible value of rare coins, you're in the right place. In today's video, we'll explore two of the most fascinating and expensive United States coins currently circulating the auction market.
First up, the 1986 Washington quarter with a large date variety, minted at Philadelphia, marked with P. This quarter is a silver collectible in fine condition. We'll explore what makes this coin unique, what fine condition means, and what you can expect it to be worth in today's market. Let's get into it. The Washington quarter has been a symbol of American coinage since 1932. While most 1986 quarters found in circulation are clad coins made primarily of copper and nickel, this special silver version was struck for collectors, containing 90% silver and 10% copper. This quarter features the large date variety, a subtle but important difference for collectors. The P mint mark indicates it was minted in Philadelphia. This silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams and holds significant intrinsic value because of its silver content. Now, what does fine condition mean for this coin? In coin grading, fine indicates moderate wear with some details worn flat, but the major features are still visible. You might see wear on the high points of Washington's portrait and the eagle on the reverse, but the design is clear and identifiable. In comparison to lower-grade circulated coins, a fine coin still retains a respectable amount of detail and is much more desirable. However, it's not as pristine as higher-grade coins like extra fine or uncirculated. Because this 1986 quarter is made with 90% silver, its base value is tied to the current silver price. Today, the melt value generally ranges between $5 and $7 depending on silver market fluctuations. In fine condition, collectors might pay a small premium over the melt value, with typical prices falling between $7 and $12. The large date variety can also increase interest slightly, though this depends on the buyer. To preserve coins like this, store them in protective holders, avoid cleaning or harsh chemicals, and handle them minimally to maintain their condition and value. Silver Washington quarters from the 1980s, including varieties like the large date, bridge the gap between numismatics and precious metals investment. They represent a unique era of collector-focused minting. In summary, the 1986 Washington quarter, large date, with a P mint mark in fine condition, is a collectible 90% silver coin. Its value today is mostly tied to silver prices, ranging roughly from $5 to $12, depending on condition and collector demand. We're diving into one of the last years of the famous Lincoln Wheat Penny, the 1958 D mint mark, large date variety, in stunning red color shade and fine condition. We'll explore the history behind this coin, what makes the large date special, why red color shade matters, and of course its value in today's market. Let's get started first. A quick overview. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted from 1909 to 1958, and 1958 marks its final year of production before the Lincoln Memorial design took over in 1959. This makes 1958 pennies quite significant to collectors. Notice the large date on this coin, a subtle but important detail. In 1958, there were two date styles, the large date and the small date. The large date is the more common and widely collected variety, with digits that are taller and more prominent. The D mint mark means this penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the major U.S. mints. Denver pennies are popular among collectors, often offering a slightly different mintage and sometimes increased value compared to Philadelphia pennies without mint marks. One of the most prized features on any copper coin is the color. This penny has a beautiful full red color shade, indicating it has retained the original copper luster and hasn't been heavily circulated or oxidized. Red pennies generally command higher prices because they're more visually appealing and rarer in circulation. So what does fine condition mean? In coin grading, fine coins show moderate wear on the high points, but major details like Lincoln's facial features, hair, and the wheat stalks are still clear and well-defined. This grade is a great balance between condition and affordability for collectors. In this grade, You'll see smoothness on Lincoln's cheek and jawline, and some flattening on the wheat ears, but the coin still has a lot of its original charm. The 1958D large date wheat penny is a common coin, but its place as the last year of the wheat penny series gives it collector interest. Those with full red color and fine condition are especially sought after for their aesthetic appeal. Now, let's talk value. In today's market, a 1958D large date Lincoln wheat penny with full red color shade and fine condition typically sells for around $375 to $400 depending on eye appeal and demand. For comparison, pennies in lower grades or with red-brown color generally sell for less than $1, while coins in very fine or uncirculated condition can command $500 to $600 or more, especially with strong red color. If you want to preserve or increase the value of your pennies, avoid cleaning or polishing them, as this can damage the surface and reduce collector appeal. Instead, store them in protective holders and keep them away from moisture and sunlight. Remember, 1958 was a year of great cultural change in the U.S., from music and fashion to the space race beginnings. This penny connects us to that dynamic era and the end of an iconic coin design. Next up, the 1983 Washington quarter with a large date, minted in Philadelphia, marked with a P. This silver quarter is in good condition, and we'll discuss what that means, what makes this coin special, and its value in today's market. Let's dive in. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, featuring the profile of George Washington. The 1983 silver quarter, however, is a special collector's coin made with 90% silver and 10% copper. Unlike the more common copper nickel-clad quarters, these silver versions were struck for collectors. This coin features the large date variety, a slight but notable difference in the size of the date digits. The P mint mark indicates it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Weighing about 6.25 grams, the 1983 silver quarter holds value not just as currency, but for its silver content. So what does good condition mean in coin grading? A coin in good condition shows heavy wear with many details worn smooth, but the date, major design elements, and mint mark remain visible. For this 1983 quarter, you'll see noticeable wear on Washington's profile and the eagle on the back, but the coin is still identifiable and collectible. Compared to higher grades like fine or extra fine, a good condition coin is more worn but still holds value, especially since it's made of 90% silver. This condition is typical for coins that have been well circulated but not damaged. Because this quarter is 90% silver, its minimum value is closely tied to the current silver price. Today, the melt value generally ranges between $40 and $60. In good condition, this coin usually doesn't carry much premium over melt value since the wear is significant. However, collectors who want silver quarters for their collections still find it attractive, so it often sells in the $50 to $70 range depending on demand. If you want to protect your silver coins, store them in holders or albums, avoid harsh cleaning, and keep them in a dry environment. Even coins in good condition benefit from proper care to prevent further damage. Silver Washington quarters from the 1980s are unique because they weren't meant for circulation, but to appeal to collectors and investors. They bridge the gap between precious metals and numismatics, making them popular for both reasons. Next up, we're taking a closer look at a classic piece of American history, the 1935 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, featuring the large date variety, minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark, currently in dirty condition. We'll explore what makes this coin special, what dirty condition really means, and how much this coin is worth in today's market. So if you have old pennies lying around, this one might just catch your eye. Let's dive in. Here it is, the 1935 Lincoln wheat penny. This particular coin is a large date variety, which means the numerals in the date are slightly bigger and more pronounced compared to the small date version. Also, because it lacks a mint mark, we know it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia pennies from this era do not have mint marks, and 1935 was part of the Great Depression era, a time when coins like these circulated widely and tell a story of everyday American life. But what exactly do we mean by dirty condition? Well, many older coins have accumulated years, even decades of dirt, grime, and surface oxidation. This can make details hard to see and affect the overall appeal. Dirty condition coins often look dark, dull, and worn, sometimes with visible corrosion or stains. It's important to remember that cleaning coins improperly can damage their surface and reduce their value. So even if your coin looks dirty, it's often better to leave it as is unless done professionally. The 1935 wheat penny is not considered rare. Millions were minted, but it remains popular among collectors because of its age and historical significance. Even in dirty condition, it's a valuable piece of numismatic history. So, what's the value of a 1935 Lincoln wheat penny, large date, no mint mark, in dirty condition? On today's market, these coins typically sell for 10 to 30 cents. The value depends heavily on the coin's condition, but even dirty pennies hold some collectible value. For comparison, coins in better condition, like fine or very fine grades, can fetch anywhere from $1 to $3, while uncirculated examples can be worth much more, sometimes $15 or higher, depending on eye appeal and collector demand. If you want to protect your coins, store them in a cool, dry place and avoid handling them too much. Use coin holders or albums to keep them safe and prevent further damage. Coins like this 1935 penny give us a tangible link to the past, to the challenges and resilience of the Great Depression era. Each scratch and mark tells a story of a coin passed through countless hands over nearly a century. Next up today, we're examining a unique coin, the 1967 Washington quarter with the large date variety, without a mint mark, and in what collectors would call dirty condition. We'll explore what makes this coin special, the significance of the large date and no mint mark, how condition affects value, and what this coin is worth today. Let's get started. The Washington quarter has been a beloved part of American coinage since 1932. However, unlike most quarters you'll find from this period, the 1967 quarter is a special story because it was actually not struck in silver for general circulation. First, let's clear up an important fact. 1967 quarters were not minted in silver at all. Starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to copper nickel-clad coins for all quarters in general circulation, ending the silver quarter era, which lasted from 1932 to 1964. But you might be wondering, what about the large date variety? The term large date refers to the size and style of the numerals in the date. Some collectors look out for these subtle variations, especially in older coins. But in the case of 1967 quarters, the large date is mostly a curiosity rather than a rare error. Regarding the mint mark, 1967 quarters typically do not have one because the Philadelphia Mint did not add the P mint mark to quarters at that time. So the absence of a mint mark on a 1967 quarter is normal and expected. Now, when we say dirty condition, we're referring to coins that show significant surface grime, corrosion, or discoloration, often making details hard to see. While cleaning coins is generally discouraged among collectors, the presence of dirt or toning doesn't necessarily destroy value, but it can affect the coin's grade and appeal. It's important to note that the 1967 quarter is a copper nickel-clad coin, not silver. Its face value is 25 cents, but since it contains no silver, it holds minimal intrinsic metal value. So, what is the 1967 Washington quarter without a mint mark and dirty condition worth today? Because it contains no silver and is commonly found, its value is close to face value, about 25 cents, or sometimes slightly more if sold in bulk. Dirty condition doesn't add value here. In fact, collectors prefer cleaner coins or those with original luster. However, if you're simply looking for a quarter to spend, this one fits the bill. If you want to improve the appearance of a dirty quarter, remember, cleaning coins improperly can reduce their value if they are collectible. For common coins like this, gentle cleaning might be okay, but it's best to handle coins carefully and store them properly to avoid future damage. To summarize, the 1967 Washington quarter with a large date and no mint mark is a copper nickel-clad coin, not silver. In dirty condition, its value is close to face value, around 25 cents. It's common, and while it's a nice piece of history, it doesn't carry significant collector value. Next up, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a Denver mint mark featuring the large date variety in fine condition. We'll talk about its historical significance, what the large date means, the importance of the Denver mint mark, what fine condition entails, and most importantly, its value in today's market. Let's get started. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln Wheat. Penny, minted from 1909 through 1958, features the beloved profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse. This penny is part of the last few years of the Wheat Penny series before the design changed to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. Here we have the 1956 penny with a large date variety, meaning the numbers are slightly bigger and more prominent compared to the small date version. This is a subtle detail that collectors often seek out. And the D mint mark tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which produced a significant portion of pennies during this era. The large date is simply a design variation from that year, but it holds interest for collectors looking to complete a full set or find specific varieties. Meanwhile, coins from the Denver Mint are well regarded and often sought after because of their slightly different mintage numbers and sometimes better survival rates. So, what does fine condition mean in coin grading? In this grade, the coin shows moderate wear on the high points, but key details are still visible. Lincoln's profile, hair, and coat lapel are worn but clearly defined, and the wheat stalks on the reverse remain distinct, though softened. A fine-grade coin strikes a good balance between wear and detail, making it a popular grade for collectors who want a well-circulated coin that still looks appealing. The 1956 D large date penny is quite common in circulation, but those in fine condition are always in demand for their decent quality and affordability, especially for collectors completing sets. So, what's the value of a 1956 D large date Lincoln Wheat penny in fine condition? Currently, these coins generally sell for around 40 cents to $1.50 in today's market. The price depends on the eye appeal and the coin's exact grade. For comparison, pennies in lower grades like good might only be worth a few cents, while those in higher grades like very fine or extremely fine can fetch $2 to $5. Uncirculated examples are much rarer and valued much higher. If you want to keep your coins in good shape, avoid cleaning or polishing them, as this can damage the surface and reduce their collector value. Instead, store them in protective holders and keep them in a dry, stable environment. 1956 was a time of post-war prosperity in America, with cultural shifts and the rise of new technology. This penny, a humble piece of everyday life, connects us to that important decade in history. To wrap it up, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny, with a D mint mark, large date, in fine condition is a popular and affordable collectible valued today between 40 cents and $1.50. It's a perfect coin for new collectors and those building their wheat penny collections. Next up, the 1984 Washington quarter with a large date, minted at Philadelphia with the P mint mark in fine condition. We'll explore what makes this coin special, the significance of the large date, what fine condition means for collectors, and its current value in today's market. Let's dive in. The Washington quarter has been an iconic coin in American history since 1932. While the standard quarters in circulation today are clad with copper and nickel, there are special collector's editions like the 1984 silver quarter. We're examining made with 90% silver and 10% copper. This 1984 quarter features the large date variety, a subtle but distinct difference in the style and size of the numerals on the date. The P mint mark tells us it was minted in Philadelphia. These silver quarters were struck mainly for collectors, not for general circulation. In coin grading terms, fine condition indicates moderate wear. On this quarter, you'll notice some flattening on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse, but all major details remain clear and easily recognizable. Fine condition coins have more character than heavily worn ones and are more desirable to collectors. One of the most important factors in valuing this coin is its silver content. Being 90% silver, this quarter contains about 0.1808 troy ounces of silver, giving it intrinsic value based on the current silver market price. As of today, with silver prices fluctuating around $25 per ounce, The melt value of this quarter ranges roughly between $4 and $6. However, because it's a collector's item in fine condition and features the large date variety, it can command a premium above melt value. In fine condition, most 1984 silver quarters with a P mint mark and large date sell between $7 and $12 depending on the buyer and marketplace. The condition and variety add that collectible value above just the silver content. To keep your silver quarters in good condition, always store them in protective holders or coin albums. Avoid cleaning them with harsh chemicals and handle them by the edges to prevent damage. Next up, we're exploring one of the classic gems from the early 20th century, the 1919 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny, featuring the large date variety and no mint mark, preserved in stunning, extra-fine condition. We'll dive into its history, what makes this coin special, the significance of its large date, and importantly, its value in today's coin market. Ready? Let's get into it. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday and was minted until 1958. The 1919 coin comes from a fascinating era just after World War I, a period full of change and growth for the United States. Here, you can see the large date clearly. This variety features taller and wider digits compared to the small date version. The lack of a mint mark tells us this penny was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which was the primary mint-producing pennies at that time. Now, what exactly does extra fine mean in coin grading? In this grade, coins show only light wear on the highest points of Lincoln's face, hair, and coat. Most of the fine details, like the lines in Lincoln's hair and the wheat ears on the reverse, are sharp and clearly visible. The coin still has a nice luster, and the surfaces are clean without major scratches or marks. Extra fine sits just above very fine, and below almost uncirculated. It's a popular grade for collectors because it offers a great balance between affordability and eye appeal. The 1919 Lincoln Wheat Penny isn't extremely rare, but finding one in extra fine condition is definitely more challenging. Most coins from this period show heavier wear due to circulation, making well-preserved examples desirable. So, what's the value of this beautiful 1919 large-date Lincoln Wheat Penny in extra fine condition? As of today, such coins typically fetch between $600 and $1,000 on the market, depending on eye appeal and collector demand. For reference, a 1919 penny in fine condition might only be worth a few dollars, while uncirculated or mint state coins can command hundreds or even more, depending on the exact grade and color. If you want to keep your coins looking their best, avoid cleaning them yourself. Instead, store your coins in proper holders and keep them in a stable environment with low humidity. This coin connects us to an important chapter of American history, the post-World War I era, a time of transition and modernization. Holding a 1919 Lincoln Wheat Penny is like holding a piece of that story. Next up, we're diving into a coin with a bit of mystery and special significance, the 1965 Washington Quarter, with a large date, no mint mark, and in good condition. We'll talk about what makes this coin unique, the famous large date detail, what good condition means, and importantly, what this coin is worth on today's market. Let's get started. The Washington Quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, honoring our first president, George Washington. However, the year 1965 marks a turning point in U.S. coin history. Why? Because starting in 1965, quarters were no longer struck in silver for general circulation. Now, about the large date, this term refers to the style and size of the numbers in the date on the coin. While more relevant in other years, the large date in 1965 is more of a collector's note, since all quarters from 1965 onward were copper nickel-clad, not silver. You might notice this quarter has no mint mark. That's because the Philadelphia Mint did not place a P mint mark on quarters during this period. So, the absence of a mint mark is standard and expected. When we say good condition, it means the coin shows heavy wear from circulation. Most design details are worn smooth, but the date and major features like Washington's profile remain visible. It's a lower grade, but still collectible for many enthusiasts. A crucial fact for collectors: the 1965 Washington Quarter is not silver. After 1964, quarters were minted with a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning a pure copper core sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel alloy. So, what is the 1965 Washington quarter worth today in good condition? Since it contains no silver, its value is mostly face value, about 25 cents. You won't find a silver premium here, but it's still a nice piece of history and circulation coinage. Because these coins are very common and don't contain precious metals, their value rarely exceeds face value, even in better conditions. Collectors typically look for older silver quarters or rare mint errors for significant premiums. To preserve your coins, keep them stored in a dry, cool place and avoid cleaning them aggressively, as that can cause damage and reduce any collector interest. To wrap it up, the 1965 Washington quarter, large date, no mint mark. In good condition is a copper nickel-clad coin worth approximately face value 25 cents. It's a common coin but a neat part of our numismatic history. Do you have any 1965 quarters in your collection? Now you know what to look for in their value. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more coin collecting insights. Next up, the 1940 large date without a mint mark, featuring the famous tick line variety, but in damaged condition. We'll talk about what makes this coin unique, explain the tick line, explore the impact of damage on value, and reveal what it's worth in today's market. Let's get started. Here's the 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Large date, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the absence of a mint mark. What sets this coin apart is the tick line, a small sharp die scratch that looks like a tick mark, located near the date or another specific area of the coin. The tick line is actually a die crack or scratch on the coin's die itself, which was then transferred onto the coin during the striking process. This little feature is considered a variety by collectors because it's consistent and identifiable on coins from that specific die. Now, this coin is in damaged condition. Damaged coins show signs of post-mint harm. This can include deep scratches, corrosion, heavy wear, cleaning damage, or even environmental damage. These factors significantly affect the coin's aesthetic appeal and collector value. While die varieties like the tick line can add interest and even a bit of value, damage usually reduces a coin's market price. Serious collectors typically prefer coins with minimal damage. The 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny is quite common, but the tick line variety is a neat collectible that appeals to variety hunters. However, in damaged condition, these coins are mostly of sentimental or educational value rather than high monetary worth. So, what's the value of this 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the tick line in damaged condition? Currently, damaged examples typically fetch around 5 to 25 cents in the marketplace. By contrast, cleaner examples without damage but with the tick line can sell for anywhere from $1 to $3, depending on their condition. Mint state examples or coins with exceptional eye appeal can command even more. If you want to protect your coins, avoid cleaning them aggressively, and store them properly in holders or albums to prevent damage and preserve their value. Coins like this 1940 penny give us a window into a pivotal era, the dawn of World War II, and a time of great change for America and the world. Each coin holds a story beyond its face value. To summarize, the 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny, large date, no mint mark, featuring the tick line variety, is a cool collectible. In damaged condition, its value is modest, typically between 5 and 25 cents. Still, it's a fascinating piece for variety collectors and history fans alike. Got a 1940 penny with a tick line or other interesting features? Take a closer look, you might have a small treasure. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more coin collecting insights. Drop your questions or comments below. I love hearing your stories. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.